He joins us, and it's a special part of every week when we get a chance to visit with a guy who writes a column for the Marina Times. He is the coastal commuter there, writer, knower of all things related to music and movies and television and streaming. He comes in on a wave of magic and a rainbow of niceness and pleasure. Yes, Michael Snyder. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Brett. Hey, Mark Thompson. And wow, March Madness is here. And that particular choice from earlier is like choosing between a headache and an upset stomach. But,
You're not wrong. Okay. You're not wrong. Yeah,
no.
It's true.
Hey, speaking of feeling sick, I'm so happy that the vaccines have jacked up. And, you have, it'd be better if you had a menu, but you had your choice. And I will point out that one of the advantages of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is that it leaves you smelling baby fresh.
I see. There you go. Very, very nice. Yeah, I get it because of the baby powder. I get it. Yeah. Do you know, just because you mentioned it, we haven't done the story today just for time, but the mayor of Detroit is telling people not to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's crazy. But, I mean, I love this idea that all of a sudden we're vaccine experts. We know better than Fauci and every other expert out there. That no, I want the Moderna because I looked over the statistics and on the second trial group. Please. I mean, it's so typical. We just grab whatever, blog post reinforces whatever insecurity we have.
I just want to remind you of my motto: better to vaccine and not herd. Okay.
Nice.
Well done. Well done. What do you have for us, Michael Snyder?
Okay, lots of movies to cover this week. The Mauritanian is a dramatization of a true story gleaned from the bestseller Guantanamo Diary by Mohamedou Ould Slahi, who was rounded up by forces in his North African home country, Mauritania, and delivered to the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. And there he was detained, accused of being one of the planners of the 9/11 attacks. The movie, which is directed by Kevin MacDonald, who did a film I totally dig, The Last King of Scotland, primarily concerns the battle by Nancy Hollander, an activist defense attorney, to get Slahi his day in court and a fair hearing, despite forces within the U.S. government and military who want to just lock him up. And as the movie unfolds and intensifies, we see flashbacks of Slahi's life, and through his eyes, witness some of the atrocities perpetrated on detainees at Guantanamo. In terms of legal procedurals and political drama, the Mauritanian it's pretty typical stuff. And the shocking treatment of the detainees, it's all public record now. But there's impact and value in the movie, courtesy of the cast, particularly French actor Tahir Rahim as Slahi, who is he's first rate. And by the way, he's the star of the upcoming miniseries on Netflix, The Serpent, which I highly recommend. It won't drop for a few weeks, so we'll talk about it then. Jodie Foster, who is appropriately determined and noble, plays Hollander, the defender, and Benedict Cumberbatch is the able U.S. military prosecutor, complete with a southern drawl, who wants to see Slahi get his just desserts or last meal, but starts to question the case against the incarcerated Mauritanian. It's good. It's solid. And if you're interested in recent history, I'd recommend checking it out. Again, the performances are great. Available on VOD rental at the usual places: Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, iTunes, Vudu, Fandango, etc. Okay, let's move into something that's also kind of topical-ish. Crisis has the pedigree and the best of intentions. It's got a very respectable cast to tell a multi-plot line, feds and criminals tale of drug trafficking. It also calls out the malpractice of Big Pharma and shows a lot of collateral damage on all sides. It stars Gary Oldman.
It's called Crisis? I'm sorry, the name of the movie is Crisis?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Okay.
Okay, that's okay. Crisis. Anyway, so Gary Oldman plays a physics professor and drug researcher. Armie Hammer is a tough guy in the middle of the drug running business. Evangeline Lilly is a single mom whose son is put at risk. Greg Kinnear is a college president of questionable moral fiber. Michelle Rodriguez is an FBI agent. And even Lily Rose Depp Johnny's daughter plays a young drug addict. Whoa, that last one is a little on the nose, family-wise, but okay. Anyway, this ambitious look at the shady business of opioids and its costing lives, it doesn't hold together, and by the end, it's a little too ragged to have much impact. And the performances seem a little more than cameos in some cases. And although I always enjoy Oldman's work, there's not a whole lot that's exciting for him to do here. And the same goes for Lily, who I've kind of crushed on since she was in the cast of Lost. I mean, maybe if Armie Hammer's character was a cannibal, never mind. Crisis would have been a little more exciting if it had been. I guess maybe the writing was at fault here. In any case, Nicholas Jarecki, who wrote and directed, he meant well, but I think he missed the vein. Missed the mark. I'm sorry. Anyway, available on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime and Vudu. Okay. Oh, this is good. Something I can rave about. With Raya and the Last Dragon, the Disney animation side of Disney Pixar, they've come up with another lovely production in the string of good ones from the Disney side, including Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Moana, Zootopia. This CGI animated fantasy set in an ancient Asian kingdom known as Kumandra concerns the quest undertaken by a plucky young woman named Raya, and she's kind of princess-ish, I guess, and she's going to find the last dragon after the threat that destroyed all the other dragons eons ago returns to lay waste to the land again. Thus, Raya and the Last Dragon. Spoiler alert, Raya finds the last dragon, Sisu, and it's not what she expects. For one thing, Sisu is voiced by comic actress Awkwafina, sometimes in glib modern cadence and slang, which is probably my only real problem with the movie because it kind of takes me out of what should be a timeless setting. That is a seriously jive dragon. But damn, the whole deal is stunning to look at. It's lively, it's heartfelt, filled with a memorable group of characters who become part of Raya's journey, and those characters are primarily voiced by talented Asian performers like Awkwafina. Kelly Marie Tran of Star Wars is the voice of Raya. Daniel Day Kim, also from Lost, by the way, is Raya's father. Gemma Chan of the UK sci-fi show Humans is the voice of Raya's rival. Namari Sandra Oh of Killing Eve is Raya's scheming mother. Benedict Wong of Doctor Strange fame is the Big Bruiser, so on and so on. With like so many talented folks on board, that is representation done right. And Raya and the Last Dragon is still in the classic Disney tradition. Quality entertainment for the whole family, exclusively on Disney+.
Wow,
really enjoyed it. Okay, it may not be as high-end an animated production as Raya, but Sponge on the Run, the latest movie about that relentlessly cheerful yellow fellow from under the sea, SpongeBob SquarePants, ought to please the many fans of the Spongy One's many Nickelodeon TV cartoons. In fact, Sponge on the Run is the character's first all-CGI movie, and it concerns his search for his missing pet snail, Gary, who has been snail-napped by none other than Poseidon, King of the Sea, for reasons that I will not reveal here. This is episodic and rife with the usual silly gags that hit better if you're really familiar with the show and characters. But all you really need to know is that our pal and San Francisco comedy vet Tom Kenny, the hardest working man in cartoon vocalizing, is still doing the voice of SpongeBob, and we would have it no other way. Yeah,
he's the best. He really is. Yeah,
he's great.
He's a wonderful human being and a great singer, by the way, Mark. A great R&B.
No, he does
singer.
it all. He's an amazing, talented dude. So
I didn't know he was a singer. No kidding. What kind of genre?
Review. He has an R&B review, rock and soul review called The High Seas that he's done with Andy Paley, formerly of the Paley Brothers, as his band leader, and it is terrific. Plays the L.A. area with some degree of frequency when there's no awful pandemic. Anyway, the rest of the cast is on board, and Awkwafina back here, very busy, I guess, as a voice actor, and the hilarious Matt Berry is Poseidon. And
let me ask you a question about. Let me just ask you a question. Sorry to interrupt, but let me just ask you a question about Awkwafina because, as you say, she's back on this one too. Did Crazy Rich Asians just blew her up? I mean, was she that made her instantly hot? Right.
Well, that didn't hurt. She'd already had a stand-up career of some repute, alternative comedy, and she'd been appearing in various other things. She had a serious dramatic role last year that I thought was pretty wonderful.
I know. I had to ask you. Yeah, okay, right. So you're saying she was already on the radar.
Yeah, she's on the radar. Matt Berry, by the way, from he's been in a variety of things, including Toast of London, which is one of the funniest, most twisted sitcoms ever. He's the voice of Poseidon. Keanu Reeves and Danny Trejo show up in person. Now, if you're square with the sponge, this is for you. If not, I don't know. Anyway, available on the new Paramount Plus streaming service, which used to be CBS All Access, and which is soon debuting a SpongeBob prequel cartoon called Camp Coral, which is referenced in the movie Synergy. Annoying plug, you be the judge.
God.
Anyway,
yeah.
It's fun stuff. I want to wrap up really quickly here because I do want to acknowledge a movie of some note, a comedy that has some laughs. It's been 30 years since the very funny Eddie Murphy culture clash comedy Coming to America featured him as an African prince looking for love in Queens, New York. I guess the Eddie comeback with a terrific biopic, My Name is Dolomite, as a high point, required some product. Thus, we have a Coming to America sequel with the number 2 replacing the word 2 in the title. You know, clever. And many of the significant players from the first movie back, especially Eddie's foil Arsenio Hall, but also James Earl Jones as the prince's father, the King of Zamunda. Yeah, everybody's a little older, but still getting it done. And the treat of having various characters played by Murphy and Hall under pretty remarkable makeup is undiminished by time, even as a lot of familiar ground is plowed when Prince Akeem has to head back to Queens to find his bastard son next in line for the throne. Now the boy from New York is going to get the fish out of water experience that Akeem did 3 decades ago, only in reverse. So you get Saturday Night Live alums Tracy Morgan and Leslie Jones adding comedy value, and there's a handful of cameos, musical and otherwise, that are entertaining. Wesley Snipes makes for a good preening adversary as the African dictator next door, and there's a ton of energy and good vibes on display. But like Akeem returning to America, we've been here before. Anyway, fans are going to eat it up. I was amused. Available on Amazon Prime, Coming to America.
Wow, what a batch of offerings today. The Mauritanian, you liked.
Yes.
That's the Jodie Foster thing. I think it won something at the Golden Globes. Not that matters. The awards things are so crazy stupid, I think. I mean, I know they're...
Well, there you go.
You can't compare these things that are so different. I mean, works of art, really. Different movies, you can't compare them. They're completely unique things, right? But anyway, I guess...
those awards in the arts are baloney. You know, let the public and the critics decide. I had to keep my hand in there as well.
Well done.
Self-preservation is what it's called.
Crisis, which is on Amazon, you liked it? Ish?
Well, I thought it meant well, and it had some moments, but it was a little cluttered.
Okay, Raya and the Last Dragon you really liked. It's on Disney Plus exclusively. You really like that. And then the SpongeBob movie. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to point out that like Aladdin with Robin Williams, the dated patois or references can sometimes kind of lock a movie into a certain era as opposed to being of the era that it's depicting, you know. So that's a little issue with Raya and the Last Dragon. But Aquafina's funny and so likable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but you really liked it apparently. And the SpongeBob movie, the Sponge on the Run, is at Paramount Plus, and you like it. If you're spongy, you'll dig it.
Yeah.
And Coming to America, it sounds like you were very pleasantly surprised by it.
Well, it's the same old stuff, but it's done with a lot of verve, and so I think fans are going to like it. It's not a great movie, but it is. It's not something I thought, I've wasted 2 hours of my time. No, it was fun. Not a great film, but fun.
You can read Michael Snyder in the Marina Times. He does the Coastal Commuters. He goes back and forth to Los Angeles, where he's a writer-producer. On top of all things, you can find him on Twitter. He's the Culture Blaster, at Culture Blaster. You can also find him on YouTube, at Culture Blaster. You probably can find him other places, but those are the only places I know. And, Michael, we love that you spent time with us. What? Did you have something else to say?
Well,
I'm peaking in my energy. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait. If you really need to find me and read me the riot act, I'm sometimes at the Royal Grounds on Polk Street.
Oh, that's right. He hangs at the Royal Grounds. I forgot. That's his office, his home away from home. And he arrives and leaves on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
See you, Michael.
Wow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.